having this meeting and so enjoyable. So my thought today that I wanted you to think along with me is in the terrible times that have been described with all the people dying around the world and over 1,000 a day, I think, now in our own country, ask yourself, is there room for humor, or is that a disgraceful notion? I'm reminded of something that Lincoln said, and Lincoln always told stories, loved jokes, and is remembered so many things, as Jordan has told us and reminded us when he plays Lincoln. And one of the things that I recall is there was a journalist who said to Lincoln about Lincoln, wrote about Lincoln, that he was such a buffoon because even at the time of the Civil War, he could still tell his stories, lighthearted stories. So he was charged with being insensitive. Lincoln said, there's no one in this country who feels more deeply than I do about our brothers and sisters during this time and the killing that's going on. And he said, but if I couldn't make a light comment or think of something that might brighten other people's life, he said, if I couldn't think of humor, my heart would surely break. So we've had a lot of fun going back and forth with a number of people in Toastmasters, trying to one up one another. I think, well, anyway, this is really not the thing to do with humor, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I wrote down a number of one-liners. You don't have to laugh or applaud. That doesn't happen anymore. But for example, I'm going to read a few. And the first one is, I'm trying not to touch my face. Nobody else has touched it in years. I'm learning to put my glasses on with my feet. To be extra careful, my wife and I have decided not to touch one another. We made this agreement 5 years ago. Married couples are observing the 6-foot rule. Being closer together is improving their relationship. I have a slight cough. I asked my sister to bring me some cold medicine and haven't heard from her since. I'm really not worried about COVID-19, but COVID 1 through 18 has me terrified. In order to protect myself, I'm now eating with my mouth closed. I've been elbow bumping for so much, I now have tennis elbow. If someone around me coughs or sneezes, I get their name and phone number. I may have to sue them later. Getting tested for the coronavirus is a little like winning the lottery. You have a 1 in a billion chance of winning. By the way, I'm not just catfishing you. I see someone looking for. The cancellation of sporting events is not totally without merit. My pro basketball team, Orlando Magic, was spared from having their 15th losing season. Things are so serious since Disney World closed that even Mickey is drawing unemployment insurance. Most of the manufacturing companies in town are on lockdown. Even the robots are now in quarantine. I'm glad I belong to a small church. With only 25 members, we can still meet. Now 10. Each member has its own pew. All right. I got to censor a couple of these. I'm finally getting good service in restaurants. This was written before the restaurants and saloons were off limits. I'm finally getting good service in restaurants. I'm usually the only one there. So I can't hear if you're laughing, and that's probably a good thing because you're not. But then I'll tell you one thing that we can do, and Judy and I are doing this every day. As you know, so many restaurants, the mom and pops, the little guys, are trying to exist from day to day now. And of course, everyone is on takeout service. So what we're doing each day is going out. We stay in the car, pick out one of our favorite little restaurants, and call in an order, and then go curbside and pick it up. And of course, leave a fairly generous tip. I want these people to survive. I think that's one thing we can all do. The other thing, of course, is to simply take care of one another. Ask your neighbors how they're doing, and do they need any help? It's true, of course, as Carson said, that with American ingenuity, we'll get through this. Carmelo also said, try and stay positive. Jordan reminded us that there's a lot of good reading out there, a lot of literature. I'm trying to protect myself against the virus with copious amounts of scotch and cigars. I'm going to have one just after this meeting ends. And then I figured that in such an environment, the virus couldn't possibly survive, at least in my body. Now, I don't know. I don't know where the timer is. I've probably gone.
You got a red light.
How much time do I have left? Oh, okay. Okay. Stay close to friends. At these times, we realize that's the most precious thing we have in life.
And Roy, we were all cracking up.